It is Friday. We always try to end things with a little bit of routine here. It is time for Fake News Friday. Yes, Fake News Friday, going through the whirlpools of wackiness, the hurricanes of hilarity, and all the other weird stuff that we can debunk and try to make sense of. This one is an Alberta politics-themed Fake News Friday because yesterday, the Ethics Commissioner in Alberta exonerated Danielle Smith on the chief complaint made by CBC, which is that she or someone in her office had sent an email to Crown prosecutors trying to interfere in the prosecution of Artur Pawlowski. Now, Premier Danielle Smith and her office did an investigation. Previously, they said, listen, there was no email. We found no record of this. CBC doubled down. And now we have the ethics commissioner coming out and saying, yeah, there was actually no email. The ethics commissioner found no evidence of this. Now, if you look, interestingly enough, at the headlines on this, there's a lot of support for the idea that Danielle Smith was exonerated on the chief accusation. But the CBC headline, Danielle Smith breached Conflicts of Interest Act, says ethics commissioner. So they go way down to the report and find that a conversation that Danielle Smith had with her justice minister was inappropriate, and they find that to be the headline there. So talk about when two people can look at the same thing and draw wildly different conclusions. The reality is that she was cleared on the most significant counts. They did find her to have run afoul of a minor aspect of this. But odd, the media focuses more on that one than the bigger picture here. And Danielle Smith has taken it on the chin. She said, look, I'd actually welcome more direction and clarity on that so this doesn't happen. Because what she was found guilty of doing was asking her justice minister if something was legally possible. Like, isn't that what you're supposed to lean on your justice minister for when you are not a lawyer and they are a lawyer and you have a legal opinion that's been given to you that you want to say, hey, just let me know what you think about that? So I found it baffling that the commissioner found that, but ultimately CBC has been the one who really has to be held accountable here and so far has not recanted or retracted anything. And just because we like to end things on a bit of a lighter note as well, we go to a piece in The Conversation. Now, okay, let me just, before we put it up on the screen here, preface this by saying, I am good at many things. Gardening is not one of them. I am not good at gardening. I don't know about gardening. I kind of, like, if it were me, I would look out and see the dandelions and be like, oh, wow, we have yellow flowers. That's great. Let's plant more of them. Even though you don't want to plant dandelions and don't even need to. Like, I had this with my wife the other day where I saw something. I was like, oh, that looks nice. What is that out there? And she says, those are weeds. And I said, oh, okay, well, they're nice looking weeds, but I'm not a gardener. It's not one of these things that I focus on. As long as what is it? Sean says, are those the fun blowy flowers? Oh, dandelion. In the fall, you can blow them and spread the spores everywhere so there are more dandelions. Tell your kids it's a way to plant a nice yellow garden. Don't tell your kids that, please. Kids, your parents are going to kill me, so I hope you're not listening to that part anyway. But here we go. I might actually be woke because I do not garden. Now we go to the conversation, decolonize your garden. This weekend, dig into the complicated roots of gardening. This is a piece by Ateka Kaki and Vinita Srivastava, who say the May long weekend is the unofficial start of summer, and for those of you with home gardens or access to community space, it's time to dust off the gardening tools, visit the garden center. However, the practice of gardening is deeply tied to colonialism. From the formation of botany as a science to the spread of seeds, species, and knowledge. So the fact that tulips have been the subject of colonial conquest, the fact that they were hybridized and commodified and have coveted status, this is all just colonialism. You can't like your tulips. The fact that botanical gardens were laboratories and scientific this is an exact line. Scientific objectivity asserted a Eurocentric point of view, disrupting and displacing Indigenous knowledge and ecological practices. So if you learn something scientifically, you're colonial because you're not just learning it via Indigenous oral tradition. Sean says tulips are the OG Bitcoin. Yeah, if you haven't familiarized yourself with tulip mania, there was a bit of a bubble in the Netherlands and around the world. What was it, like 500 years ago, on tulips? But the Bitcoin active, I think Bitcoin has actually held its staying power a little bit more. Like Pierre Poilievre didn't come out and say that Canada will become the tulip capital of the world. So Pierre Poilievre needs to come out with his tulip platform. No, Bitcoin's holding a little bit. There were no tulip ETFs. There were no tulip vending machines and tulip ATMs and all that. So get out of here with your bitcoins or tulips or the OG Bitcoin. In any way, you are all colonial, white supremacist, racist if you have gardens. Sorry to tell you.